Kia ora, this is Arun Jacob, your friendly and frank licensed New Zealand immigration advisor as well as international education advisor, offering my opinion and thoughts about the proposed changes to the immigration policy of New Zealand, which will have a direct effect on international students and their families. Let's quickly examine what these proposals are. And by the way, this is just a call for consultation by the Minister of Immigration, and it's going to go on till the 29th of June of 2018. And after that, of course, they will collate all the information and they'll take some more time before that policy actually gets rolled out. At this point, it is just a proposal. So to all my dear AJV students who are watching this, and to some of your other international students, even if you're not through AJV, don't be perturbed and worried. This is going to only affect those who are going to come in future and not those who are already in New Zealand. So stay stress-free. Everything is going to be cool if you're already in New Zealand. Okay, cool. Let's examine this. So there was 5 points which the government said they're going to examine. What I did is, as part of my analysis, I decided I'm going to club them and make them into 3 points. So here's the first one, is to provide a 3-year post-study work visa for degree level 7 or above qualifications and remove requirement for post-study work visas to be sponsored by a particular employer. First reaction, brilliant proposal. Because at the moment what's happening is you complete a level 7 or above qualification, you get a 1-year post-study work visa open, and then in that 1 year, if you get a job that's relevant to your course, you get the post-study work visa employer assisted. So it's 1 + 2 is equal to 3 years. That's what is the current scenario. But in the last 2 years of your post-study work visa, because you're sort of married to a particular employment and employer, so sometimes that employer can exercise some undue influence, and there could be, cause for exploitation or, the grounds for exploitation. And I think that's what they're trying to attack by taking the employer out of the equation. Great proposal. So if you're planning to come to New Zealand for a bachelor's or a postgraduate diploma or a master's or a PhD, great proposal, all for it. Proposal number 2, provide a 1-year post-study work visa for non-degree level 7 or below qualifications and require students completing non-degree level 7 or below qualifications to undertake at least 2 years of study in order to gain eligibility for post-study work rights. Okay, interesting proposal. What they're saying is that if you're getting a level 7, but it's not a degree, then you will only be given a 1-year post-study work visa, but also you should have studied for at least 2 years. So that's really what it means. Now at the degree level, at the non-degree level 7, you basically have graduate diplomas and graduate certificates and some other diplomas. I think the biggest chunk at the non-degree level 7 would be the graduate diplomas, which I personally think are a great degree because they're like the specialization of a degree, the last year of a degree where you might have done 3 years of bachelor's and then you do a graduate diploma and specialize in it. For instance, that there is my level 7 graduate certificate in New Zealand immigration advisor. It was great specialization. Helps me to sit here and offer this, thoughts and opinions about the New Zealand education and migration industry. So I personally think it is a great course and good level, the graduate diploma at level 7. But if the government feels that if you're going to do a non-degree level 7, including graduate diplomas, if it's got to be a minimum of 2 years, I think it's a little restrictive on the graduate diplomas. I'm personally not in favor of it. I think they must retain some of the graduate diplomas and say, hey, look, as long as you're doing this graduate diplomas, we will treat you as somebody who's doing an 8, 9, or 10 and give you the 3 years work visa. Because trying to force these people who can do graduate diploma level 7 into a 2 years duration, I think is a little unfair. For those of you who are planning to actually come for a graduate diploma and you think it's not right that you should be given only a 1-year work visa, the answer is very simple, guys. You need to up your English quotient a little bit, and as against, for instance, to get into a graduate diploma level 7, you require a 6 IELTS band with no score less than 5.5. But if you're going to a level 8, you require a 6.5 with no score less than 6. So if you can go up in that IELTS by just a little bit, you can quite easily jump from the level 7 to the level 8. And by virtue of coming into level 8, you would still be able to get your 3-year work visa. So that's something to consider. Coming to the last one, which is to require international students studying level 8 or 9 qualifications to be in an area specified in the long-term skills shortage list in order for the partner to be eligible for an open work visa, and in turn the partner's dependent children to be eligible for free compulsory schooling. Okay, this seems to be aimed at the partners because at the moment what happens is if you're studying level 8 or 9, your partner automatically becomes eligible for an open work visa, subject of course to meeting the partnership requirements, which is not always very easy. But here they're suggesting that, hey, look, if in future you want to come with your partner and you're studying a level 8 or 9, which is not specified in our long-term skill shortage list, like IT and engineering and a few other areas, they're saying then we may not be able to give an open work visa to your partner. So you basically have two options, try and come and study in New Zealand in a long-term skill shortage area, and at level 8 or 9, if you're very desirous that your spouse should also accompany you or your partner should accompany you and get a work visa. So that is option number 1. Option number 2, if you think, hey, look, but I don't want to change my subject just to do a long-term skill shortage list subject area. So I'm really not interested to do that. Then quite simple, you come here, leave the partner behind for a year, come and do your level 8 postgraduate diploma or level 9 masters, finish the course, get your post-study work visa for 3 years, and again at that point the spouse becomes eligible as well, again for a work visa, unless until they decide to change that policy as well. But my take on those policy changes, I don't think they will tinker too much with this policy because the policy was already changed last year, and in fact just before the previous government was going out of power, they changed the policy, and I think we're beginning to see the flow through and the positive effects of that particular policy. So no government will keep tweaking too much of it. And also the reason why you can't really tweak it too much, and I made a few notes, is that international education is big business for New Zealand. We get about 140,000 students every year. It is $4.5 billion of revenue to the country. It generates 33,000 jobs. It's the 4th largest industry in New Zealand. It's twice bigger than wine and fisheries. And the target is to earn a revenue of $5 billion by 2025, which is not too far away. So I don't think any government would be foolish enough to tinker with such a big revenue earner for a small country like New Zealand. Of course, every government will need to protect the interests and well-being of New Zealanders first, and as well as the interests and well-being of international students who are coming to New Zealand. So I think what they're doing is quite obviously to try and find that balance where not only do we take care of our local New Zealand interests, but also protect our international students, and not to forget the fact that New Zealand is always going to be heavily reliant on good skilled migrants coming into this country, and who better than international students who come here, invest their time, money, effort, emotions, and everything else to be able to study, get a good degree, pick up some work, and hopefully go on to become very productive workers, residents, and citizens of this country. So it's a good match for both New Zealand and international students. But all these policies are aimed at curbing exploitation of those international students who are vulnerable, who are weak in English, or who are a little not well formed in their thoughts and their ability to plan ahead, and they're kind of a little gullible and being taken in by the stories of agents who are fast talking and glib and saying, hey, look, everything is going to fall into place the moment you go to New Zealand. So I think it's aimed at trying to prevent those lower level course vulnerable kind of students. It is not aimed at those students who are at the higher levels, especially 8, 9, and 10. So if you're that student with that fantastic attitude, skill, and knowledge, great English, good character, good health, and the money to pursue high quality education, continue to speak to AJB. We will make the dream happen for you. And you're the kind of people we have worked with always anyway. So I think together we can create a great future for yourself and also a fantastic New Zealand, which is the larger aim for AJB, because this is our country. This is where we are based. This is where we live. This is where my kids and the rest of my colleagues' kids are growing up. So we want to create a good country as well by attracting all you, top guys and top girls from different parts of the world. So Do not worry about these policy changes. They are meant for the good of all of you and for New Zealand. And continue to speak to us and we will make this thing happen for you. Together we'll make this thing happen. All right. Thanks as always for watching my videos. Please share it with your family and friends. And until the next time, Kia ora from Hamilton.